All right. Good evening, everyone. Ali here, February 18, 2025. This is the chart that I want to share with you today. I just shared it in my forecast for 2025, but for those ones who haven't seen my forecast, make sure the file actually I'm just putting up there. I've been through lots of charts, and this is my cycle. This is one of my cycle forecasts for 2025. And as you see here, market is just going exactly the same pattern that I'm expecting. And I'm not sure about the price if we are getting to 6,400. But I would say months of March and April, we should see the cycle top for the market, even it can stretch it to months of May. But after that, we should see a sharp decline all the way to August this year. So this is kind of like a very neat so far. The cycle played out nicely, but I would say everyone needs to be careful, especially after March, April. So all in all, let's get it started with S&P 500 daily. All right, this is S&P 500 daily chart, and as you see here, market is just getting back to the upside nicely. We just got into this brand new all-time high, 6136, so 6200 to 6250. That's gonna be my first target, at least for this stage of the game. So there is no ceiling above us. No one can predict exactly when market is gonna reversing to the downside and what level is gonna predicting it's going to reverse to the downside. Yes, there are some levels with Fibonacci extension. You can nail it down. So this is 62 to 6250. That's the area that I'm looking at least for the short term. We may see some kind of like a topping formation for S&P 500. All in all, I should say market is just boosting to the upside nicely, and a brand new all-time high in S&P 500 and Nasdaq is the case right now. So just to stay tuned with that one. Moving on to Nasdaq. Nasdaq is leading to the upside as well today. So brand new all-time high with the Doji bar right now forming a small bullish consolidation for the next rally to the upside. 22 1,400 to 22,800. That's the level. However, based on my analysis on the weekly chart, we may get through even to 23,343. So that's the area that I'm looking at least for a month of end of the February or even March, April. We can get to those levels. Actually, it is very, very feasible, especially with semiconductor index. They're just starting new rally. We will get to those ones as well. Right now, I would say Dow Jones is lagging, but Dow is forming a nice bullish consolidation here. We just uh, flirting around SMA 20 on a daily basis at 44,600. That's the level right now we are just holding. And I would say this is a small bullish consolidation. We may tackle another one to this neckline, even if we're breaking through to new all-time high, then 46,000 is coming down the road. Let's just move this box here to just have idea that we are heading to 46,000 in case if we breaking through above this neckline. Moving on to gold, which kind of like a forming a very nice pattern today. So we are pretty close to new all-time high. We got closing all-time high on a daily basis today, and nicely pattern is getting back to the upside. I was expecting to just pull back to this 2845 at least for a daily basis, but momentum is pretty strong. So remember, the ultimate target for me this year, actually this kind of stretching through above it, but 32 to 3300, that's the very, very feasible scenario for gold at least this year, especially when we have a silver participating in this rally nicely today as well. So we just got a nice breaking through to higher high as well. So we need to get above this shadow, which we may get above this shadow. And in case if we get above this shadow, we can get to 34 to $35 per ounce. I would say $44. My target for silver is coming this year, and that would be a parabolic move to the upside. When silver starts its rally, no one can catch it up with it. So stay tuned for that one. Moving on to crude. Crude just getting back to the upside momentum on MACD and also RSI. And also stochastic is forming very, very nice momentum to the upside. We have got a resistance here, 73 to 74. But I would say if we get above 74, as I said before, we are coming to a nice bullish structure to the upside. Right now, it's just forming a nice bullish structure. This is nice W pattern here on a daily basis. And if we get above this neckline, which is going to be the pivotal point above 74, then if we get above this trend line as well, so all in all, crude can get to higher high, 84 to 92, following by crude potentially by April this year. So I'm kind of like a bullish on this. And you can see that the momentum in energy stocks are very obvious. Moving on to Bitcoin, Bitcoin just I would say Bitcoin is very, very choppy, especially since February. Bitcoin doesn't go anywhere. It can't manage above 100,000. It can't manage below 90,000. So it's kind of like a flirting around here. The pattern is very bearish, I would say. It's not bullish at all. But if we see some kind of like a this higher low, and today is higher low as well. So if we manage stay above this 94,000, I would say Bitcoin still can have rally to potential challenging 110. So if cannot happen, then if it goes to the downside, I would say today low is very, very important, because if it gets below this, we may go back down to 86 to 88,000 area. I would say it's not going to hold it, and we can have a sharp sell off to 74 to 76,000, which is going to be my ultimate buying opportunity. I'm not sure if that happens after rally or prior rally, but this level is going to be tested, and it will test it potentially when it's the time. Moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum is forming the same scenario here, 26 to 2500. That's the bias for bulls, and still holding above 2600. In daily analysis, you will see that it's forming a nice bullish consolidation, but in weekly perspective, it's just forming a bearish. However, this shadow is very, very tricky. So when you see this shadow here, somewhere around here, this means 21, 27, that is capitulated, and market movers just move the price to the upside nicely. We need to get back to 2,900. If we get above 2,900, 3,000, I would say the new era for Ethereum is coming, and potentially new all-time high is coming. Moving on to the bond yield is getting back to the upside today, nicely flipping up 4.30%. However, still we are below this pivot, 4.42. So bond yield actually is not going anywhere unless we get one of these pivots actually engulfed to the upside or downside. If we go above 4.43, that's going to be bullish. We can go to 4.6. But if we get down below 4.20, then we can just going ultimately below 4%, which is my ultimate scenario for this year. Moving on to Treasury. Treasury, just after Friday hype, it goes down today, just a double tested trend line. If we get below this pivot, that would be ugly. It can go all the way down to here, 82 to 85. But if it just reversing back up tomorrow, that would be kind of like a nice bullish consolidation in a daily perspective. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to VIX. VIX is down today. Actually, it was up, but the candle is forming to the downside. So we may see some kind of like a downside to $12. Moving on to Dixie. Dixie reversing back up today. So dollar is getting stronger. However, this is not a bull flag false. This is kind of like the bearish pattern that I see, and it can go lower to 105. Moving on to Apple. Technology names, Apple just sold off sharply today to 40, but getting back up nicely as well. So intraday session, it's forming a nice bullish consolidation within this wide range bar. So we need to give Apple time and benefit of doubt. Amazon today just sold off sharply to 124, but getting back to the upside, especially last hour of trading session. Meta is just forming a nice engulfing to the downside. I would say this stock is due for a corrective move, and it can go down. Let me just put this line here. It can go down to here, to this area for a next buying opportunity, 640. That would be the scenario if Meta goes back down. That would be great buying opportunity, at least for momentum traders. I'm not going to trade on this, but this is good, be a good technical level for getting. Moving on to Microsoft, I just saw analysis. Microsoft, for a year, it doesn't go anywhere. So if you just go back all the way to February last year, look how price was there. So it was like a 400 area. Right now, February 2025, price is still is around 412. So Microsoft, after a year, price, there is no gain. So this is not good for overall long-term stock market, especially Nasdaq. But if you are just a trader, you don't care. You're just love it just because it goes up and down and you can just buy and sell in this range. Right now, I would say Microsoft can reverse him back up again to this higher high, to this 448 for a decisive moment. Moving on to Google. Google, after double testing 180, just getting back to the upside. This is the area that institutions got involved, and I would say 180, 177 to 180, that's the area that I'm looking at. Moving on to Netflix, like Meta, it is due for corrective move. And today we just got a correction. So we may see some kind of like a backing and filling all the way to 938, which is going to be $60 less. I'm not sure if it goes below this area. So if it goes below that, this is the level that I'm looking at. So this is, let me just put it here. So right there. So that's the area, 872. So this is the area that I'm looking at for institution or investors or buyers, I should say, coming back. 872 to 938. Moving on to semiconductor index, SMH, we just got nice pop today. Lam Research was the booster today, and we will get to that one. SMH nicely getting back to the upside, 256, and I would say SMH can have rally nicely to potential double top or new all-time high. SOX, the same pattern, just lagging, but this is going to have like this gap fill here, 230. Taiwan Semiconductor forming a bull flag here. Still, the deal with Intel is in place. So right now, I would say Taiwan can get back to bullish momentum. In case of breakout, we can see 236 to 260. Moving on to AMD, which is forming the bottom here, 106, 107. So right now, it's $114. So if we get above this level, I would say above this 120, then AMD can go back to 137, somewhere around here. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to NVIDIA, we just got a test at this trend line here, 140, came back down today. This is very natural technical reaction. So we should just give market benefit of doubt. NVIDIA can have like a backing and filling, but ultimately I'm just looking for a new all-time high for NVIDIA down the road. Moving on to Texas Instrument, nicely getting back to the upside. This is forming ending diagonal and also within this ABC pattern. So this may see another rally to the upside if Texas get back to 190. I would say 190, 191 is going to be decisive moment, this gap. If it goes above this, then Texas can get back to this range. Let me just delete this. Texas can get back to this white range bar, which is 200 area. Moving on to Lam Research, popped nicely today, 4%, fantastic move. Got above this important resistance here. So Lam Research is just heading to new potential era for a parabolic move to 101, the ultimate target that I have. It can go higher, but I would say 101, that's going to be the area that I'm looking at for profit taking. Lots of people are going to profit taking as well over there. Lam Research nicely getting back to the upside. We should just give it benefit of doubt. We bought a lot here in this area, and right now we are nicely in profit. Moving on to financials, XLF just getting back to the upside, new closing all-time high, and we may see some kind of like a bullish momentum still continuing, while KBE, large cap bank ETF, just reversing to the upside. If it goes above $60, then it can go to new all-time high, $63. KRE, the same reversal here nicely, getting back above $64. JP Morgan just getting into new all-time high today, 279. Goldman Sachs as well, new all-time high today, $672. This is great. And also Bank of America just forming a nice dragonfly doji, a nice reversal pattern. If momentum still within the industry, this one can go higher as well. Wells Fargo, pretty close to new all-time high, just getting close to double top here. Moving on to GDX, which popped today 2% nicely after Friday ugly session. It goes down, but GDX today nicely getting back to the upside. This means this is just a capitulation, shake out some traders. I would love to see this type of action because if it goes higher above this pattern, this means it's just a shakeout. or washout low. Very sharp sell-off, but getting back to the upside nicely. If it goes above this pivotal point, I would say GDX can go nicely higher to a potential double top here. So we will see how it goes. But GDX is very close to double top. Moving on to GDXJ, $51 here, 22 cents, 2% to the upside. This is another pattern. So we may see some kind of like a capitulation in the short term, but in long term, I would say this one can go to 55. AEM nicely getting back to the upside. This is forming a bull flag, which is leading actually to the all-time high. Newmont nicely the same here. So we just got 3% to the upside today. Newmont can go to $50 to $51 if you ask me. Gold Barrick, the same scenario here, $18.36, nicely, I would say 3% to the upside today. And gold barrick is heading back to the upside. This is just one candle. We didn't have any follow through. So this means just the washout low or shakeout candle, I would say. Shakeout, lots of people just are reversing. And with one candle, people are selling, but this one is getting back to the upside. We may see some kind of like a bullish momentum to this area, which is going to be $21-ish. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to XLE, which is Energy Spider, just getting back to the upside nicely. We are forming a bullish momentum here within this trend. So if I want to show you exactly how pattern it looks like, so we are kind of like forming a trend line here. If it breaks above this, that's going to be the beginning of the sign. So if we go above 94, that's going to be a bullish structure change to the upside. So potentially new all-time high is coming. So keep an eye on this pivotal point around 94. That's going to be game changer. Moving on to OIH, the same pattern here, just getting back to the upside, lagging compared to XLE, but this one is bullish as well. Exxon just nicely getting back to the upside today. Exxon is forming a very nice pattern, I would say. So this is a nice pattern. This is a nice bottoming pattern, something like this. And you see after that what happens. So it goes all the way up to new all-time high. So we may see some kind of like the same scenarios forming here. We are very choppy at the very nice institutional level here, which formed the previous rally. So 100 to 106, that was the level. And right now we are at 110. So if Exxon is getting back to the upside, we need to see above 112, 115. Then it can go all the way up to brand new all-time high. Chevron, the same pattern here. Keep an eye on 160, 161, because that would be the game changer for Chevron to brand new all-time high. All right, folks, I believe I covered everything. If you like this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel. Have a good one. See you on the chart. Bye-bye.